Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Greatest Love of All podcast. Today we are diving into a topic of spirit. What is spirit? I guess we are all knowing this from the religious aspect of Holy Spirit, especially in the Catholic Church. But we wanted to dive into that from the spiritual point of view as to what is it? Does it serve us? Do we have any influence over it? I am one of your hosts, Izabela, and I'm joined by Ingvar. Hello.
Hello again.
So, Ingvar, this is a topic that I personally found quite difficult to put my head around. But you were like, no, we've got to talk about this. I was like, okay. So, for somebody who I guess doesn't put much attention to the fact that, the religious houses tell us, pay attention to Holy Spirit, pray to Holy Spirit. What is it? Like, how should we define Holy Spirit or spirit in general?
What exactly it is the spirit? Spirit, it is a kind of energy. I think you may define as consciousness. It is the consciousness, of course, if you will define Holy Spirit. So this is the holy, eternal consciousness. But what is our spirit? And what our spirit means for us, what we can do with our spirit. Do we, for example, have to work with our spirit when we are developing how to move the spirit, our spirit?
Yeah, so the only question I had is because obviously you said that it's like that pure consciousness. So is spirit different to soul? Is that not the same thing?
You see, no, it isn't different, but you may, for example, because we know that we are oneness. What is the Holy Spirit for us? So the Holy Spirit, it is that maybe it is difficult to explain, but because maybe it is, so for example, how you can define consciousness? What is a consciousness? It is difficult to define the consciousness, but if you will try to define the Holy Spirit, so you may say that in the Holy Spirit there are souls. And when we are going together, I show you that we have a field. There is the field of the oneness. When you are praying for the Holy Spirit, so you got this a spirit, that the spirit goes down to you, and it is work on you that erase your issues, what you have, because the Holy Spirit makes that kind of reset in your thinking, because all problems what we have as a people, it is because of our thinking.
So the church traditionally doesn't really give an amazing definition for Holy Spirit. They say it's the third person of the Holy Trinity, together with the Father and the Son, fully God, co-equal, co-eternal, and consubstantial, as in of the same divine essence with them. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't really like say that, but you say that it's almost like energy that you can tap into. It's like an energy field you can tap into that is kind of, I guess it's the sort of energy that the soul would go through after death because you would cleanse.
Yes, you may go. Yes, it can work like that. But you see, it is a source.
Okay.
So you go back to the source. But for example, there are levels. So when you died, so for example, you go through the levels, because to be ready to the another level. And the same I can explain you, for example, like that people have a dream to travel to the universe. So, and there is a huge problem how to do it, because our body, or they are not able to travel because they are prepared to live on the earth. So when you just want to, go on the Mars, so there is the problem. You need to find out the solution how to save your body life in those environment, because there are many energies, the radiations, of course, this, so then it can damage your body. And when you are pure energy, pure consciousness, so you may, for example, you may travel through the for example, planets, or through the another energies, because you are the energy. So when you are a master of your energy, you know how it is works. So you can, you can make your own environment. To go back to this, what you were asking, so you see that the Holy Spirit and the soul, the Holy Spirit, it is something bigger than the soul consciousness. I mean that it's collecting souls, the souls, when they are under the Holy Spirit or in the Holy Spirit. You see, even when you are starting to think about this, so you can feel what you are start to feel in your body. So you feel that your energy is racing now. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Because you start to think about this. When you are thinking in different way, because you have a free will, so then you may make a problem. You may make an issue, because you can do it is, this is your will to manifest your life. But when you live from this Holy Spirit, for example, or you may imagine that you are pure as a Holy Spirit, so you may discover that there is some another in you, there is some another consciousness. But it is another, that doesn't mean that this is consciousness of someone else. It is you, but you were covered by your this ordinary thinking, ordinary behaving. But what is in under or in it, so then you will feel something different. But then you have to find out what I have to do then to save this feeling, to save this state.
Because as you were explaining this, first of all, to you, dear viewer or listener, we are trying to, I guess, define and square something that is very difficult to define and square,
Yes.
because it's like it's not bound by the laws we know. It's not
Mhm.
bound by the rules of physical world, right? So when we are describing this, it's really difficult. And I guess I like the fact that Ingvar, obviously you have tremendous knowledge, and I'm just trying to really box it into
Mhm.
the constraints of the physical world we live in. But as you were saying, all of this about the fact that, we have us, we are, our soul has our entity, and then we are part of that spirit, as in, yet another entity. What came to my mind was the book by Michael Newton,
Mhm.
Journey of Souls. And
Mhm.
in that book, he describes that as souls, we are parts of clusters, like of soul clusters, of groups of souls, and we form that energy in there. Is that what you are describing ultimately? Do we
Yes.
mean that group that we belong to? It's that kind of, it's the energy field that could contain multiple souls, but yet we are also part of it, but we are also not at the same time, weirdly.
Yes, because we have this sense of our being, because
Yes.
we can, develop, because when we are thinking that we are, you know in a way independent. So you can develop for your own. Yes. But when you think that you are together, so you see that one is goes this side and the another goes this side. Yes.
Yeah,
So
but I
you have
guess
to
I'm
learn.
starting to understand this. And actually now all of a sudden what church is defining as in, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? Like you it's like all of a sudden it kind of makes more sense. But I guess what really stops the brain steps in because of the fact that we are bounded by constraints of physical world. You kind of have to go beyond that, completely beyond that, and realize that first of all, you as entity are not entirely completely isolated. You are yourself, but you are also part of something bigger. And I guess that's the first important step you need to take in order to understand the spirit aspect. It's that step beyond you. And it's like, what is beyond you? What are you part of? What do you
Yeah.
form? That's the key, right?
Yes, we were talking about this in the previous episodes, of course, when I was when I was telling that you are a soul, and the soul, you are living in your soul, and your life, it is also you. So you are not finished here on the edge of your body. You are bigger than your body. So you are bigger. So when you know that you are, a part of the something huge, yes. And of course, that's why I was trying to explain what is the spirit for us. But before we were just
Yes.
went on this direction, what is the Holy Spirit, but we were thinking to say about this later. But okay, but now I think I will go in this way, that what is the spirit? What is the spirit of us? So because people are thinking that they are finished, that they are only, a body. They are and here. Yes. And the later, it is just the environment. Yes. And something different than you. But it isn't like this. It is what is visible for us, mostly for us, what is for most people, that is that we are here because we are constructed, that we are here more concentrate. And the later, so in a around us is this aura, which is a spirit of us. But the spirit of us, it is also inside us. So can, go through and go outside also. So every person have this spiritual energy. And there is also, the man, I think he was named Powell, and he was describing the some different body of people, but I mean of the person. That the person have the astral body, the eternal body, and this is kind of eternal body. But he was describing that that the eternal body its ends about the 10 centimeters around the person. But that was his description. But in my opinion, it is that this eternal body, which is the spiritual body, it is not ends only here. It is you may use your spiritual body. So when you are feeling your body, so you feel how this energy is moving. But to feel how this energy is moving, of course, you have to exercise. When you exercise, when you meditate, when you observe your body, so you are learning how it is works. So step by step, you are feeling how energy how it works, your energy, and how energy of someone else. So when it's coming to you and when your body will send your energy to someone else or to some another space, for example.
The whole concept of a Holy Spirit actually is not really exclusive to Christianity. And I think it's really important to say that because I
Mhm,
guess I was actually quite ignorant to it, being,
mhm,
I was a born Catholic. I don't practice any specific religion, but I always felt that Holy Spirit is a Christian thing, but it's not, it turns out.
mhm,
And so
mhm,
you see, in Judaism, they have Rauch HaKodesh, which literally translates to the Holy Spirit. And it's the Spirit of God. It refers to God's breath, the power or presence that inspires, gives life, and guides, which is interesting. There is always a little bit of truth in all of those interpretations, I feel.
mhm,
But then in Hinduism, you see, there is a concept of Atman, the inner spirit of self, and Brahman, the universal spirit. And they can resemble the idea of the divine immanence. So God dwelling in all things. Again, very, very interesting. So in Hinduism, they also have a Shakti, which is the divine energy or power of God, especially in some traditions like the Shaktism, which plays a role somehow like Holy Spirit in Christianity. Then we have Taoism, and Tao is the divine principle of the ultimate reality that pervades and sustains all things. So Tao is often experienced as spiritual flow of breath, the
mhm.
chi, I guess, that aligns creation with cosmic harmony. And then in Islam as well, they speak of, I don't know if I will pronounce this correctly, Ruh al Qudus, which literally translates to Holy Spirit too. And it mentions it multiple times. And usually when it does, it refers to the angel Gabriel and divine aid or power sent by Allah. So you see, it's like we've been saying this. Like, this is not unique to Christianity. And all of a sudden, this really opens my mind to the fact that, hold on a second. So it's not just a Christian thing. If we all say the same thing, then something must be in it, right?
Yes. So you see, many religions have at the same root, and they are describing the same thing, but in their own way. It is undeniable that the Holy Spirit exists. When the Spirit exists, so it is also that our spirit exists too, because how can work the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit can work on the our spirit, and which is, of course, our awareness, our consciousness. So we have some consciousness. We are conscious of something. We have built our life. We have built our world. And then, in our, point of view, our perception. So, and of course, some people will build with the issue, some issue, and then when the Holy Spirit came, it's erasing those issues. You see? So that's why people are, which issue it's illness, for example.
So I still need to put my head around the erasing of issues. You've mentioned it at the very beginning. You're mentioning it now. I am very conscious of the time, and I think that this is something that we should absolutely cover in the next episode. And not only dive into that, but also the more practical uses of spirit, because we have not even touched on that. I guess in this episode, we have attempted a definition of what the Holy Spirit is, but I feel the next episode should be on the practical aspects of what it actually means day to day. What can we do with it? How can we, can we even do anything about it? What is it
With
for?
our spirit, let's say,
Yes, there you
because
go.
we say Holy Spirit, but what is the Holy Spirit? You see? So you see, it is you are producing your spirit, you are a part of your, consciousness, that it isn't like that you can, manipulate with the Holy Spirit. You see,
Well,
because it
you
is
see,
something what is erase us, so make a reset of us to to put the right knowledge how it is work.
we need to dive into that because I am still not quite sure what that actually means. And also, I would question because you say we are not Holy Spirit, but surely we are through the part that Holy Spirit creates us. We are part of it, and therefore, to a certain degree, we are too, right?
Yes, we are, but I'm trying to explain that, but not because it is not simple to explain.
No, it's not.
When we have this, will, we are doing the things in our own way. So when we are doing the things in our own way, so it is possible to make some issues, right? So I
To make
mean,
mistakes, I guess.
yes, mistakes, of course. So I mean that if you do some mistakes and you are praying to the Holy Spirit for forgiveness or to be saved from something, you are praying for, something which is
Cleansing. Cleansing.
cleansing. Yes, for cleansing. And of course, you are praying for, take away this from me. Yes, in a way. Please take away this from me. Or make my life easier, or make my life that I understand what I do or what is my life, for example.
I am curious about spirit, the idea of a Holy Spirit, and the kind of more squared way to understand it, not to just, super theoretical. I would like to make some more understanding on the practical level. So if you are just like me, make sure to hit subscribe now. And we are back next week with more about spirit, Holy Spirit, our spirit, and all things concerned with that. We'll see you in the next episode.
So we see you again, and please subscribe our channel.